Our top story, a bankruptcy deal could put the brakes on one of the area's oldest manufacturing plants.
WIFR's Nathaniel Langley learns what may be coming for Gunite Rockford's nearly 300 workers and the local economy.
Those from the United Auto Workers Local 718 tell us the fate of their foundry is up in the air. They argue a company restructure at Accuride would drop their plant. And if no one picks it up, the nearly 200-year-old plant closes.
This is a great place to come. You feel like family. Everybody talks. Sometimes you can't hear yourself think.
Tucked inside the heart of Rockford's manufacturing south side, you'll find the Bear Den.
I mean, you see all different walks of life here. You see they sit next to each other. They talk to each other. There's no judgments here.
Gunite Rockford is one of Briggs' customers down the road. The union there believes owner Accuride's bankruptcy could shut down the 170-year-old plant.
Gunite kept us alive. I mean, every day we were feeding 20 people from there, breakfast, sometimes lunch too.
Some say manufacturers like this forged Rockford.
In the beginning, we had a lot of immigrants who came here and built furniture, and that furniture needed fasteners to be held together.
Larson calls the bankruptcy a sign of the times for mid-sized companies like Accuride.
I think we'll see a lot of that in the years ahead as companies, through succession planning, change hands.
A buyer could keep the plant's future alive, and that keeps spirits high for those dependent on local manufacturers.
I hope they don't close. I hope they stay open and they prosper and bring business to the Rockford area.
We have phenomenal training and education programs to keep upskilling and helping workers build even better careers here.
Accuride calls its bankruptcy a restructuring agreement. It'll take about 3 months before the deal takes effect.
In a statement to WIFR, Accuride says it is looking for a buyer for its wheel end business. If there isn't a new owner, Accuride will wind down production at plants like Rockford.